This is my lovely audience. Hi, my name is Emma Larson, and today I will be talking to you about the importance of defensive driving. Now, I will be breaking this speech down into two very important parts. First, why it is important to be a defensive driver, and secondly, how you can learn to be a defensive driver. The very most important part of being a defensive driver is being aware of your surroundings at all times, and this enables you to have safe driving abilities. You must be aware not only of your own vehicle in relation to the vehicles around you, but also the other vehicles in relation to your vehicle. This is very important because it could be the difference between a car crash, such as the one you see here, or having enough time to slam on your brakes and avoid a collision, such as that one. It is very important to be a defensive driver when driving around your friends, your family, or if you have a job that entails you to do so. For example, I'm a nanny, which means that I am constantly driving the kids around to soccer lessons, violin lessons, swim lessons, play dates, the park, you name it. And I have to make sure that the kids are safe in the car, which means that I have to be aware of our surroundings to ensure their safety as their babysitter and their nanny. Now, according to the article, 10 Easy Tips for Defensive Driving, written for SeattleAuto.com, a very important tip would be to be aware of dangerous drivers. A huge example of this are the erratic lane changers, you know, the ones who ping pong back and forth, they don't use their turn signals, they're obviously speeding. Those are very dangerous drivers, but it is easy to notice them because of your side view mirrors and your rear view mirror. However, an extra tip that I like to enact is called the high eyes driving technique, also known as the 12 to 15 second ahead technique. This means that you are looking not only at the vehicle directly in front of you, but you are looking to the horizon, to the vehicles way ahead of that car. Seen here in this example, this imaginary driver is looking all the way to the horizon so he can predict if there is an accident, if maybe one of the traffic lights is out, etc. Now, my next tip is probably something that will be reminiscent of your childhood, but looking both ways before you proceed through an intersection from a red light. This is very important because you will not get hit by red light runners if you go through this rule. For example, this happened to me about a few weeks ago. I was stopped at a red light, it turned green, and I looked to the right and then to the left before I went through the intersection. And it was a good thing I did because a giant semi-truck came blasting through the intersection, and if I had gone forward, it would have hit my car and I could have been seriously injured and put in the hospital, and that wouldn't have been fun for anyone. It's similar to what you see here in this picture. I was driving ahead, the bus in this case, in my case it was a semi-truck, pulled out, and it can be a very scary situation for everyone. Now, my third point may seem very obvious and kind of cliche for our generation, but it is extremely important, and it is do not text and drive. Do not text and drive. I will say that repeatedly because my friends still do it even though they realize how dangerous it is even when they're swerving in the car and no one really listens to it. Looking down for at least 5 seconds to check a text, an Instagram post, Facebook post, anything on your phone, that could be the difference between life and death. I personally would not want to be responsible for the death of someone else due to texting, and I don't think any of you would either, nor would I like to die because some other kid was texting and hit my car. Another reason you shouldn't text and drive is because it is actually illegal. If you are in an accident and you hit someone, and the police find out that you were texting, that is punishable by law, and you could pay a very high penalty cost, and you could be put in jail for some time, and no one really wants that to happen. No one ever wants that to happen. Now, my final point is probably very obvious, as many of these points may have seemed, but they're all extremely important, and this one is no less important than the ones I have already talked about, and it is enacting the 3 to 4 second rule, which means you should always remain at least 3 to 4 seconds behind the vehicle that is directly in front of you. This can help prevent road rage. If you're riding someone's bumper, they could become very upset and that could lead to very awful consequences. But this is important for defensive driving because the 3 to 4 rule can change very quickly depending on traffic patterns or weather patterns. For example, as you see in this picture, if it is very foggy or if it is very sunny outside, you need to remain at least 6 to 7 seconds behind the car in front of you, if not more. Defensive driving means that you're aware of your environment, you're aware of those other vehicles, and that you can change your own driving techniques to match those of the ones that you see around you. Today I have spoken to you about the importance of defensive driving, and I will repeat what I said at the beginning. You must be aware of your surroundings in order to be safe. I gave you many helpful tips today, such as looking both ways before entering an intersection, not texting while you are driving, and many, many more. If you are able to enable these texting techniques, you will be a much more defensive driver and you will be safer and also keep others who are on the road with you much safer as well. Here's my bibliography. Thank you for watching.